All right, y'all. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about how long can you stay in your house after you get foreclosed on. I'm also going to tell you a story about how Miss Jennifer was able to keep her house for 15 years after it was foreclosed on. Let's get started. All right, y'all, if you just inherited a home, if you have a fixer-upper, if you have a house you don't know what to do with, send it our way. We would love to give you a cash offer. So, how long can you stay in your house after you get foreclosed on? You're foreclosed on, it's stamped, the house has been sold. How long can you stay in the home after that process? The most important thing that I want you guys to understand is that the foreclosure process is a legal transaction that the bank or the lender have to follow every single rule. Okay? Kicking somebody out of their house in the United States of America is something that needs to be done in a legal way. Okay, so don't feel like you're gonna get a foreclosure notice and the next day you're gonna get kicked out of your house. Okay, there's gonna have to be a judge involved. There's gonna have to be paperwork filed. Your lender has to do everything correctly. Okay, so I want you to rest assured. Okay, this is not to say you shouldn't move with a sense of urgency, and you'll see when I tell you the story of how the lady owned her house for 15 years after it was foreclosed on. So generally speaking, if you're going through foreclosure, it can take 4 to 6 months to a year before the bank actually takes your home. Once the bank has decided to foreclose on your property, it goes to auction. It goes to auction at your local county. It's usually the first Tuesday of the month here in Texas. At that auction, investors are going to bid on your property. Now, in order to get you out of that house, even if the investor makes an offer and the bank accepts it and you're still in the house, they're going to have to do what's called an eviction. They're going to have to evict you out of the house. In order to do that, they're going to have to get a court order from the judge. And generally speaking, depending on what county you're in, they might have a backlog and they might not be able to get to it right away. So to answer the question specifically, how much time do you have before you leave? There's no specific date because it depends on the county, it depends on the bank you're working with, it depends on the judge, okay? But rest assured, they will give you a time frame, okay? Like I said, I've seen somebody still own the house for 15 years after it was foreclosed on. The advice I want to give to you is if you are going through foreclosure, right, you've missed a payment, you've got notice of default, they've given you a notice to vacate the property, they've recorded it, you're past pre-foreclosure and you're actually going through the pre-foreclosure process. Because that takes such a long time, 4 to 6 months, a year, and also your lender's going to give you options. Maybe they might be able to lower the payments for 6 months. Maybe they might be able to push back your payments for 6 months. They will work with you. But if you're so far gone, you cannot keep the house. It's just too much of an expense. In the meantime, I'm not an attorney, and this is just my personal opinion. Start saving money to the side, right? If your mortgage payment, let's say, was $3,000 a month and you can't afford $3,000 a month, but you can afford $2,000 a month, that whole year, that 6 months, that 4 months that you're going through foreclosure, start putting that $2,000 aside to either rent an apartment or get caught up or maybe even buy another house. Now, you probably won't be able to buy another house immediately because you have a foreclosure stamped on your record, but at least you'll have some money, okay? This is my personal opinion. When it comes to survival, you need to think about yourself and your family. You need to think about having a shelter over your head and food in your stomach, gas in your car, okay? That is the most important thing, not necessarily saving the home, okay? So that is just my personal advice. I want to break down this story for you, the story of the lady that still owned her house 15 years after it was foreclosed on. Okay, so this is what happened. She got a loan from a small local bank. The bank foreclosed on her, okay, but the bank was purchased by a bigger bank. And for some reason, they did not catch that foreclosure. So the foreclosure happened. The lady, she moved out of her house and she even forgot about it. I mean, it had been 15 years. The only reason she was reminded about it is because I reached out to her and said, hey, we see that your house is going through foreclosure. Would you like an offer on it? It's like, I don't own that house. We did some research. We found out she still did own that house. The new bank that purchased the local bank just simply did not catch it. We even had to call the bigger bank, and it took a while for them to actually find that property on their books. Okay, so the lesson I want you to learn here is banks and lenders are ran by human beings. They make mistakes. So just like when you're going through a foreclosure, mistakes can happen, the process can be prolonged, or maybe the foreclosure specialist you're working with, they have 50 files in front of yours and they just haven't got around to yours. Those are all things that can work in your favor as far as getting foreclosed on. Okay, so I hope this video helps you guys. If you're going through foreclosure, you need a cash off on your property, we would love to help you. In the meantime, take care, and I hope your situation improves.